So in the previous tutorial, we talked about migrations, how to create new migrations, and how to add columns to existing tables. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about forms and CSRF protection and all that fun stuff, and everything to do with forms. Now, Masonite doesn't have a built-in package for forms. It really just has the security measures around forms. We're going to leave the form integration up to third-party packages, whether it's an official package or a package developed by a community member. So we're going to create a form real quick, and then we'll mess around with the CSRF protection and sort of demonstrate it. So if we run our craft command here, we can see that the first command is a craft auth command, which says create an authentication system. So if we try to actually serve our application here, we could see that we don't have any sort of login authentication or anything like that. So we don't have any register routes or anything. So if we come here and we say craft auth, it'll actually create that for us. So if we go ahead and craft serve again, we actually have that. So we have a login page and a register page for now. And in addition to these pages, which added some routes for us, so I added these 6 routes, and it also added a few controllers here. So now we have in addition to our hello controller and our welcome controller, we have a home controller, login controller, and a register controller. So if you see here, basic logic of logging in. So if we actually go here and we actually try to register, so we could say Joe, that's my email, and it could be root. We can actually log in, right? And we actually created that user in our database. So if we actually take a look at that form, right, in our, we'll go resources, templates, and just refresh this. We have this new resources templates auth folder. And we can go to register. And we see we have a normal form, which is a method of post, and a CSRF field, what to say filter. So if we actually go to that, try to view the source, you see that CSRF input variable created a CSRF input named token. And anything that's double underscore, that starts with double underscore, Masonite handles internally on its own. So it tries not to conflict with any variables that you might name yourself. So now in addition to this, we also have a request method helper, which is, let's say, request method put. And what this does is actually creates a new double underscore with a method that can actually change what this form is submitting. So right now it's submitting post. We might not want post. We might want a put. We might want to submit a delete. And what this would do is if we go to our routes, this would be a post, right? So a post for register. We might want to make that a delete. So HTML by default can only make this either a get or a post. With Masonite, you could actually change that to make it whatever sort of action method that you want. Now, in addition to this, we could also have another one that says back, and we can make this a URL. So we want to go, so on submission, if we want to go back, we'll go back to this, and this would be the home route. So if we go to our register controller, up top here, we could say just straight up request.back, and we can return it. And this will just go back, right? So we might want to actually put this inside some kind of logic somewhere. But if we try to submit this, and we'll just need a safe filter. And if we try to submit this, we will hit this not found thing, and that's because we forgot to make this go away. We don't want a delete method, right? We want a post method. So we'll just keep that as is. And now if we go back here and try to submit again, it'll go to this home route. Now, although you don't want this to be hard-coded, we might want some kind of route name. And remember in the view tutorial, we had our route helper. So let's go ahead and get a name of something. So this was welcome.hello. So the route would be welcome.hello. Right, so this would probably be the more practical use of this. And if we try to do that again, submit, and we went to the hello route. Right, so this is how you would use a route name with this method. Now, if we didn't have any CSRF protection and we tried to submit, we would get this invalid CSRF token error. You always want to have your routes behind some kind of CSRF protection, but in cases where you don't want to do that, for example, for an API, you might not want to make that CSRF protected. We can open our CSRF middleware, and we have this exempt attribute. So we don't want to make the register route CSRF protected, right? We want to exempt CSRF protection from this. So now if we try to submit again, that works, right? So that it wasn't checking for any CSRF protection on that. And all of that logic is right here. So if you want to change anything, you can just go down into your CSRF middleware and change things around. If you go down here, you could see that it's generating a new CSRF token on every single request. You might want to modify this block of code so it might only do it once per session or not at all or anything. That's really it for forms. Again, we don't have any sort of built-in form helpers. That'll be up to future package designers in the future and for people who want to contribute to Masonite. That's it for forms. I'll see you next tutorial.